Successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, and so much more. Over 80 show partners now with the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we all want to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our Consumer Advocate hotline number in your phone, 670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
670-REQB. Don't forget our number. Bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. That's our website, blog site, a plethora of information available for you at our website, consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida that we've assembled and we've vetted to help you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We're going to help you win. And this segment is brought to you by Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. Whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the Intracoastal Waterway. And you got rooftop yoga on the weekends. And if you're a boater like me, I love to get out there on the weekends and get on the boats with Freedom Boat Club. You can pull up and dock up there, and you enjoy the beautiful time down by the pool and the spa and the bar downstairs. And what a great weekend. A nice little staycation here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And it's a great place to live, work, and play.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, my co-host for the day, Mr. Shawn Yesner, attorney Shawn Yesner here in the house, bankruptcy and real estate lawyer. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Thanks again for having me back. I always appreciate being on the show, and what we're going to talk about a lot today is real estate law, bankruptcy law, and a lot about how bankruptcy is really not a four-letter word.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's one of those things that can help you reorganize, and it happens in business. There, everything is cyclical. A lot of things in life are cyclical. You recognize those cycles. Mother Nature provides us with these awesome cycles, and in Mother Nature, you see that there's a time to plant, there's a time to harvest. And what you want to do is take a look at your options. That's the number one goal you want to do is make sure with any business decision you are analyzing all your options. Shawn, we've seen $100,000 mistakes on this show. We've had examples of it from some of our other attorneys or even CPAs that we've talked about, financial advisors. We talk about the fiduciary capacity of financial advisors. So there's so many aspects, and it's unfortunately, there's a lot of commission breath out there. There's so much commission-based advice in our community, and that's what we want to do is we want to help educate our listeners and help them understand the decisions that they make could impact their future for years to come.
Yeah, and definitely consult with a professional. I mean, reach out to the show, reach out to the other show partners. I have a friend of mine who says the only thing that's more expensive than hiring a professional is doing it yourself. Yeah. And rely on us to help avoid you making those mistakes.
Yeah, that's right. Great show lined up for you today. We're also expecting MJ Martinez. He's the CEO of Advantage PI. He's a private investigation partner. Some interesting content that MJ provides, that perspective from a private investigator here in the Tampa Bay market, 28 plus years in law enforcement and private investigation. We also we do these fun top 10s as well. So we've got a top 10 list here of the accidental inventions according to alltop10s.com. So we're going to talk about that. And we always want to start the show with a little personal development. As you know, I'm a published author and a professional speaker. We'd love for you to check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. That's our latest book. We also have a third book that's in process, going to be out in a few weeks. But what we talk about with personal development is one of my favorite topics is the power of focus. What we focus on is going to expand in our lives, and it's going to attract and it's going to activate the reticular activation system in our brain. And the problem that we see so many people, especially our young folks, I look at the young folks today, and they're filling their minds with the different types of music and things that's not going to do them a favor when it comes to attracting success and prosperity in their life. But what you want to do is you want to focus on the gratitude, having an attitude of gratitude, focus on being able to attract into your life those things that you want. So if you're in sales, you want to really think about the vital few. Well, 1895, Wilfredo Pareto invented this system called the Pareto's Principle, the 80-20 rule, aka the 80-20 rule. And what it boils down to is 80% of your success is going to be derived from 20% of your actions and what you're doing on a daily basis. So in any business, you want to back it out. You want to reverse engineer that and think about what are the 20% of the tasks that I can focus on that's going to move the needle over towards success and prosperity for me. And one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, just finished his book, Unshakable. He talks about a 90-second rule. Now, we all know this human brain that we have, it's a 2 million-year-old organ, and what happens is it's programmed to set and look for what's wrong in the world. What's the threat, right? There's no saber-toothed tiger jumping out of the woods at us today, but what we want to look at and focus on is, and we want to recognize that the brain is going to try to trick us into a negative spin. It's going to have us thinking about loss, less, or never. Those are the three categories that we'll typically see happen. So anytime we believe in the illusion of loss because of either our lack of action, maybe we procrastinated and we're going to lose a business opportunity, or maybe we're going to have less. Maybe we got into an argument with a loved one and now we're going to have less respect or less love. So loss, less, and then also the illusion of never. Anytime we fool ourselves into believing in the word never, we are doomed for failure. So what you want to do is what he developed, he calls the 90-second rule. So anytime we feel this tension or stress in our gut or in our heart, we feel that coming in, we want to step away from the situation, slow our breathing, and just recognize that, hey, that's the survival mechanism in our brain that is telling us, hey, here's something that you want to be aware of, slow your breathing, recognize it, and then at that point, you're going to be able to slow down and understand that it's not the end of the world. It's not the survival. It's not the saber-toothed tiger jumping out at us. And you're going to be able to regroup and put yourself into a positive spin. So have an attitude of gratitude. Focus on catching that self. And here's the other thing. It's impossible to be happy and grateful at the same time as feeling depressed or sad or anxious. So focus on the positive side of life. Focus on and develop that to where you notice it right away. And you're going to notice it right away, and you're going to snap yourself right back. So that's your 2-minute audible from the consumer quarterback. Helping you there. Peyton Manning helping us out with that audible there. But MJ Martinez just walked in as well. Advantage PI, welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Better late than never.
Yeah, man. Hey, it happens. It happens, and we're going to have some good content today. Give us a little teaser of what you want to talk about.
Well, we have the bankruptcy attorney here today, so we'll try to blend in some relevant information, possibly maybe concerning identity, social security numbers, things like that, protecting your personal information. Also, I can talk about some cases that are going on currently. So.
Yeah. And that's a big area. We have William Crowley, the credit magician, on our show, comes in and talks about identity theft prevention and recovery. And credit is such an important factor in our lives, and protecting that social security number, protecting those account numbers, those are very important as well. And I've got information that I'm going to share in coming shows, but just kind of a teaser is that I've recently become a vendor for a company that will help protect your identity. And I'm going to talk more about that. But the situation that happens is we see it, and it could affect you in medical. I've heard stories of someone going to get a surgery, and the surgery is held up because of identity theft. There's a lot of things in that space, so we'll explore that further in this show and future shows. And Shawn, give a little teaser what you're going to talk about here coming up.
Well, yeah, I mean, identity theft, social security numbers, it's always interesting when I have people who are filing or wanting to file for bankruptcy, and they're concerned. I have to have their social security number, and they're concerned about it. And my first thought is, well, we're about to file bankruptcy. Why are you so concerned?
Right.
Maybe you want someone to steal your identity, and then you'll pick up a better one that doesn't have to file bankruptcy, possibly.
Yeah.
But so we'll talk about some of that stuff and try to keep it lighthearted. I know bankruptcy is a serious topic, but we'll try to have some fun with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things you want to make sure you reach out and just understand the differences and what it's like in the lending space. You say, oh, well, I've got to have 20% down. I can't buy a home. And they don't realize that there's 100% financing options out there. There's 3.5% down. There's down payment assistance programs. And it's very similar to bankruptcy. Find out what the options are, 7, 13s, 11. They're so different. We're going to talk about that with Shawn Yesner here in studio, yesnerlaw.com, as well as MJ Martinez. He's the CEO of Advantage PI, private investigation expert contributor here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a quick shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. So after the break as well, top 10 accidental inventions according to alltop10s.com, and more from our expert contributors. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host, Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. Featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, the Business Journal, the Tribune. Recognized for innovation with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. And right now we're in a lack of inventory market, low inventory still plaguing the Tampa Bay market. So if you're a seller on the fence thinking about selling, we would love to talk to you right now. It's a great time to get a comparable market analysis. Let us find out what the comps are. And it's good for you to know. It's good information for you to know how many foreclosures are in your neighborhood, how many short sales, what type of activity is going on. So if you'd like to reach out, what we'll do is we'll offer you a free comparable market analysis for the first 5 listeners who text to our hotline, 813-670-7372. Just pull out your smartphone, shoot us a text the word value to 813-670-7372. That's REQB. And we will do a comparable market analysis for you. And we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida here. Brandon Rhymes in studio with MJ Martinez, Advantage PI, private investigation partner, and also Shawn Yesner, highly respected attorney here in Tampa Bay, bankruptcy law, real estate law, and can help you with all types of different situations that may occur. And this segment is brought to you by Hula Bay. It's our official restaurant partner. A big shout out to Todd and the general manager and the team down there at Hula Bay, our official restaurant partner. Waterfront ambiance, excellent food, and a wide variety on the menu. The best sushi in all of Tampa Bay. The tuna shipped in from Hawaii every 2 days, fresh, shipped in from Hawaii. And say hello to Todd. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. He's going to hook you up with that free water and with lemon. He take care of you every time. So we're back here in studio. MJ, let's start with you, man. What have you been seeing out there?
Well, if we're going to be going into identity theft, technology, I would think that to be aware of where your personal information is going, how it can be transmitted, how it can be ascertained. As an investigator, we're always looking for that number to help track certain people, and sometimes through the course of our investigation, we find out they have multiple Social Security numbers, multiple identities, all types of methods to try to insulate their behaviors or
to elude.
Sure. Can become very interesting. Sometimes it leads me into bankruptcy court records, which kind of opens up the financial portfolio of somebody. You can go and look at a court file, and find out a lot of information. Yeah,
absolutely. And this space, I think, is going to become more and more of an area of having proactivity. We want to make sure we're proactive. You want to make sure that you are protecting these assets. I mean, they're assets. Your social, your banking account information, your medical history, all of it is being hacked. And let's face it, we've seen some of the largest companies on the planet. We've seen the federal government get hacked. It's really the new space, and it's the new frontier for a lot of war almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it blows me away the what we have available to us now, as opposed to what we had even 10 years ago, as far as just transmitting a picture from one phone to another, or to one thing to another. The science behind it, the technology behind it, it's amazing when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, it makes it that much easier for would-be criminals or people who are trying to utilize your information. To get to it. So.
Yeah, let's give a little overview as well, how people might engage you. A lot of business owners listen to our show, and there's a lot of different applications. The most notable and front-worthy is you talk about the divorce situation.
Sure, absolutely.
But maybe let's dive beyond that this show, and talk about some of the corporate applications, or how you can help businesses.
With restaurant type businesses or service type industry businesses, we're there to help to monitor the sales staff or the customer service staff or the wait staff or things like that, because those are your representatives of your business, and if they're not performing correctly, then you need an unbiased person to correctly address how your service is being presented to your customers. So a lot of times people hire us as as undercovers to come into these types of businesses and to identify different types of things.
Kind of like a secret shopper.
Sure. Yeah. It's kind of
Very similar.
Right.
Got a question from social media here. What is the best route to follow if someone does steal your identity?
Well, you first have to. I would be wanting to examine all your credit history. Try to make sure that that's not being compromised. If you have another credit card that you're not aware of, or your bank account's being depleted, sometimes in minuscule amounts that you're not aware of. Could be $20, $50, $10, something like that.
Is that a strategy that you see?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they start small and they say, okay, we're going to get into it little over time.
Right. But it happens quick. A lot of with these credit card skimmers, which is just, it's horrible out there. I recommend to never, ever, ever use a gas pump at any gas pump.
Really?
Yeah, because it's they're just notorious for having these skimmers in them.
Wow.
So I always go inside.
Do you really?
I always go inside.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, because I've been personally hit myself. I've seen other people. You read about it in the paper.
Wow.
And it's just it's convenient to be able to go to the pump and you think my company will take care of it, but they don't. Here's a little thing you need to know. If you have a business card, say it's a debit card, the bank is not liable to reimburse you back your money on your card.
Right. I've always heard you want to run it as credit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it doesn't matter how you run it. It matters what the account is.
Okay.
So if you have a business account that's tapped to a debit card, they're not always liable. They're not always liable and always reimburse you for the loss that you had.
Yeah, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here. We're talking with MJ Martinez. He's a private investigation expert contributor on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, Shawn Yesner in the house as well, bankruptcy lawyer and a real estate attorney. Shawn, you're seeing some of this in your space, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking I referred a case to a personal injury attorney. And as the referring attorney, the only time an attorney can pay a referral fee is when it's to another attorney. Otherwise, we're not allowed to pay for referrals that we get. So I don't do personal injury law. I sent this referral over to this personal injury attorney, and I got a random email back from someone at her office, and I didn't recognize the email, and it said, click here, sign this, do this, and I went, wait a minute.
Right.
It turned out to be a legitimate email. It turned out to be, so as the referring attorney, I also have to sign the retainer agreement, which gives me some responsibility in the case, which allows me to share in any attorney fee that they recover. But I was hesitant. I get a random email from someone I don't know that says, click here, sign this. I had to call the source to verify it was a proper email to open.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it amazes me. Email is the most common way.
Yeah.
People try to ascertain your information, and it's the most easily hackable.
We're seeing a lot of it in title situations as well. Real estate closings. We have Abe Musa on the show from Total Title Solutions. He's also the owner of Abe's Place, awesome restaurant there in Clearwater. If you ever pop in, say hello. But he's seen a lot of that as well. There's all these different scams, and that's what we want to do with this show is we want to make you just a bit more street smart out there and let you know. Craigslist is notorious for a lot of these scams as well. Don't mail your deposit to a P.O. box. I mean, there's a lot of crooks out there.
Yeah. There's and as we're evolving, I mean, Craigslist was been around for a long time.
Yep.
Now everything's moving towards these applications, OfferUp, all the different types of methods to transmit transactions. So they're taking that game and just moving it to the next level. And I've seen it. A car is put on one of these apps. It looks too good to be true. It's probably too good to be true.
Right. Yeah. That's the golden rule, right? So if you look at what I see, and I had it happen with one of my properties, it was an average looking property, and the rent on a typical property. Here's how you see it. Typically, the rent on a 2,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath property is going to be $1 per square foot, maybe a little bit more depending on the neighborhood, right? So if it's $2,000, that's you're okay. You're in the ballpark. But if you see something that is about that size of a home and it's about 800 or maybe even 1,000. That should throw up a red flag because they're not going to be discounting rents right now. It's such a hot market in the real estate space. So many hedge funds bought up a lot of inventory. They're renting out properties. And here's the scam. What they'll do is they'll have you mail in your deposit check, and you'll mail it to a P.O. box. And they say, oh, we got to get it fast because this, it's not going to last. And then, of course, it's gone. Once it goes to that P.O. box, it's untraceable. And you see that also with
Sure.
licensing renewals, and anytime you get a new business license, you get that junk mail in the mail
Right,
that
right.
they try to make look like it's an official letter.
Yeah, PayPal. They use PayPal. That's the quickest way to try to zap you.
Yeah.
If they can do it. So
What still gets me are the emails that you get. I'm the prince of some country with no vowels in it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send you X amount of dollars and send it back. That's the one that they're still doing that scam.
Right.
Surprises me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I forgot the name of the show, but it was where it was an older gentleman that was heavily medicated, and he kept doing it, and his family was like, don't do it anymore. Don't you realize it's not real? And he's like, no, I got to just one more payment, and then I get this. And
I actually
so he fell for that.
Somebody send me a $900,000 check.
Oh man!
That they said to put it, deposit it into your account, and we will transfer. And I knew it was a scam, so I was like, yeah, send me the $9,000.
Yeah. Go ahead and send it over. Coming into a break here, hard break, but more from our expert contributors. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, we're gonna have an awesome top 10 we're gonna do for you as well. The accidental inventions according to alltop10s.com, and more from our experts, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the show, former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team, University of South Florida, and now we're longtime quarterback as well. And now we're quarterbacking transactions, quarterbacking introductions to all of our expert contributors, helping you win in any marketplace. And we want you to think about this show as the hub of your finance, your business, your recreation wheel. And each spoke extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners. Again, over 80 show partners now that all want to help you no matter what you're facing. Everything from identity theft prevention, recovery, credit, CPAs, financial advisors, 7 or 8 different types of law that we cover on the show. Of course, we have all the trades covered as well. So anything that you need help with, we want to be your resource, and we want to provide you non-commission based advice and help you be just a bit more street smart. So how can you engage us? The best way to engage is at our website, consumerqb.com. Just submit the form, consumerqb.com. There's a contact form there. Just submit the form, send an email directly to me. And also, we have a hotline set up for you as well. It's 813-670-7372.
Welcome to my house.
670-REQB. And we want to help you win in any marketplace. A couple of hot listings I want to let you know about from Platinum MVP Realty, our premier sponsor. We've got 2606 North Valrico Road in Seffner. This is an 84-acre development opportunity, $1.79 million out in East Hillsborough County on North Valrico Road, as well as 11515 East Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. And it's just around the corner from that listing as well. Just about an acre of land that has direct access within 2 or 3 minutes to I-75. Another great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay.
Somewhere sunny at 75.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio with MJ Martinez, private investigation expert contributor on the Quarterback Show, as well as Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy law and real estate law here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So, Shawn, what else? What are you seeing in your space? And let's give out that website. Refresh my memory on that website again. Identitytheft.gov?
Yeah.
Okay.
Identitytheft.gov.
Okay.
Yeah, so the reason that this resonates with me is, as part of the bankruptcy petition, we've got to disclose the Social Security number of the person who's filing. Now, bankruptcy records are public records. They're accessible over the internet. However, for me to access bankruptcy records, I have to have a subscription to a pay website. So it's not very expensive. I think I get charged like $60 a quarter or something like that. So it's not very expensive, but I do have to pay to access bankruptcy records. The one record that I cannot access, even on a case that I file, is the statement of Social Security number. So the bankruptcy court has safeguards in place to protect Social Security numbers, bank account numbers, bank records, those kinds of things. But the funny part is, when I'm signing up a bankruptcy petition with somebody, I always ask them, I put the statement of Social Security number in front of them, and I say, is this your social? And they'll say, yes. And I'll say, okay, read it again. And they'll say, yep, looks like my social. And I'll say, okay, what is your social? Read it again. And I'll make them do it 3-4 times. Believe it or not, 3-4 times I've had somebody look at that Social Security number 3-4 times, and it's still wrong.
Wow.
It's still not their Social Security number. And so a lot of times what I'll say is, hey, listen, if we file the form in this way and the Social Security number's wrong, we're filing bankruptcy for someone else.
Right.
So double check that it's right. And it's a huge pain in the butt to clean up. We've got to send letters to all the credit agencies. We obviously have to file an amended statement of Social Security number. We have to do a lot of remedial effort just to make sure we recognize the correct Social Security number as having filed bankruptcy, and then have them pull it off, have them pull the bankruptcy reference off whatever Social Security number we did file under. So it is something that we have to sort of be aware of and protect in the course of doing a bankruptcy filing.
Yeah, let's break it down too. There's Chapter 7, there's Chapter 13, you got 11s. There's a lot of different types of reorganizations. The 7 is the one where you can pretty much wipe a lot of the debt clean. Let's talk about breaking it down for him, Shawn.
So really simple. 7 is a liquidation. 7 is what most people think of. I'm going to wipe my hands of everything and I'm done. What the trustee does in a Chapter 7 case, any assets that are not exempt. Mm-hmm. So a second home. A car that's free and clear that's worth, $5, $6, $7 grand or more, jewelry, things that are not exempt. The trustee liquidates those things, and then that's the money that they use to pay back the creditors. Now, in a I don't want to call it a good Chapter 7, but in a simple Chapter 7 case, there will be no assets that are available to be liquidated. So we file a Chapter 7. We're able to protect all the assets. All the debts are eliminated. Borrower, debtor walks away. Takes about 5 or 6 months from the time we file it until the time it's completely done and over and closed. Chapter 13 is a reorganization. So that's an individual that wants to restructure their debts. A Chapter 13 is a payment plan, and it's going to be 3, 4, or 5 years long, and it's going to be based on either the debtor's ability to pay, or it's going to be based on the assets. So if they have an extra $200 a month in disposable income over a 60-month, 5-year bankruptcy plan, that's going to be $12,000 they got to pay to their unsecured creditors. If they've got $24,000 of unsecured debt, they're paying roughly half of what they owe. And at the end of the 5 years, their creditors are gone. That's a Chapter 13. A Chapter 11 is more of a business bankruptcy. Chapter 11's a lot of times confused with Chapter 13. Chapter 11 is a business bankruptcy, or it's a reorganization bankruptcy for a person, an individual who can't file Chapter 13. So the bankruptcy code says if you have more than $1 million in secured debt, cars, houses, those types of things, or you have more than $400,000 approximately in unsecured debt, credit card, medical, IRS, student loans, all those kinds of stuff, if you exceed those thresholds, you cannot file a Chapter 13. And so now as an individual, you go and you file Chapter 11. Chapter 11s are hard. They're expensive. They're complex. Chapter 7s and 13s are probably the two that most people will fall into.
And also from a perspective, by the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Shawn Yesner to my left here, bankruptcy and real estate attorney. And to my right, we've got MJ Martinez. He's the CEO of Advantage PI, private investigation partner. And Shawn, I think we should talk a little bit about Jeffrey Tebow, attorney Jeff Tebow, also a partner on our show. He can help businesses with IRS debt. He focuses more on those types of IRS debt situations, offering compromise, that type of thing, right?
Yeah, and I'll talk to Anthony about getting the two of us on at the same time. But yeah, Jeff is a buddy of mine. Jeff actually worked for me. A lot of people may not know that. When I had my other firm, when he was a law student over at Stetson, he actually over at UF, he would come over for summers. He would work for me basically as a law clerk. So I got some stories about breaking him in and putting him through his paces. But yeah, Jeff does right now a lot of IRS workouts. He also does a lot of bankruptcy law. We bounce bankruptcy ideas off of each other. We cover hearings for each other when one of us has to be somewhere and there's a hearing. I saw him yesterday in bankruptcy court, as a matter of fact. Sat next to him and talked to him for a little bit. But yeah, what Jeff does is he helps people or companies that are being chased specifically by the IRS. Okay. I can help with that as well, but a lot of those I'll refer to him. I'd more help with IRS if it's part of a larger puzzle of all these other debts that they have going on. If it's an IRS specific issue, they didn't pay income taxes, they didn't pay employment taxes, they didn't pay some type of business tax, quarterly tax, that kind of stuff I'll send over to Jeff.
Let's do this. Let's give our listeners a call to action. If you have heard something today on the show, maybe it's bankruptcy law, you want to know more information about, a consultation, an opportunity to reach out, and also maybe IRS debt. If there's something out there that you want, you could submit the form at consumerqb.com. It's a quick email, comes directly to me. I'll forward it to the appropriate party, or you can reach out at our hotline, 670-7372. You can call or text that number, 670-7372. That's an 813 area code, Tampa number. And so, all right, so we want to have you reaching out. That's the best way to help you and be a consumer advocate for you. We have a QAA formula with this show. You're going to have questions as listeners. We're going to provide you answers, but we want to take it a step further. We want to give you action items to help you live a better life, and that's what we've been doing on air for 4 years now, helping you as a consumer advocate. So, MJ, kind of follow up to that. You seeing some stuff on your space with that?
Well, as far as the bankruptcy stuff, it really is only related in my business when I'm doing a background check or something like that.
Yep.
So sometimes it becomes relevant.
Yeah.
As far as PI stuff that's happening right now, we do all types of work for businesses, for people, for personal types of things. I've had a run lately of just cases involving missing missing daughters for some reason.
Uh-oh. Really?
Yeah. Or they're adults, but they've kind of flown the coop, and their grandparents are concerned about them.
Like college age?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, college age, right, correct. And they've taken up with some undesirables.
Oh,
so to
man.
speak.
Wow.
So that's been the hot ones of late.
Yeah, that's back to the power of focus, right? Focusing on their the positive things and not running with the wrong crowd.
Correct.
The birds of a feather flock together, right? So, all right. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the top 10 accidental inventions according to alltop10s.com and have some fun with you here on the Quarterback Show and more from our expert contributors. We're also going to jump into our lightning round, top tips, things to do, things to avoid. So stay with us. Do not touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show right here on iHeartRadio. And please check out realestateradio.tampa.com to buy or sell real estate and see all of his expert contributors. Thank you.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradio.tampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, giving a big shout out to Felicia Lacaille. She's the owner of Healthy Gourmet. All organic veggies, natural proteins, delivered fresh 3 times a week to your home or office. She's got meal plans starting at $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance. Shout out to Healthy Gourmet, Felicia Lacaille, longtime friend of the program here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Awesome delivery meal service that you can have directly to your home or office. And it's great to be healthy. You know, what else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? You got to take care of the body. And she does a great job with delivering that food. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I get the deliveries, and it's excellent, fresh, and awesome tasting food. And we're back here in studio, live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida. We'd love to hear from you. We want to engage you as a listener out there. Maybe you're viewing our television show version as well on WeBeam TV or streaming it live from our website, consumerqb.com. We want to remind you our hotline number, 670-7372.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
670-7372, and our website, consumerqb.com. All right, so in studio here with me is MJ Martinez, private investigation partner, as well as Shawn Yesner, YesnerLaw.com, bankruptcy law, real estate law. And we have a little fun with you here. We got a top 10 accidental inventions according to alltop10s.com. All right, so we've been kind of stewing on that for a little bit over the break here. MJ, let's start with you. Accidental inventions. Can you guess one on this list? We got a top 10.
Gosh, I don't. The ice cream scoop.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, yes, that's on here, I believe. Yeah, the ice cream cone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The cone.
So earlier than 1904, ice cream was just supplied in dishes. And this year, in 1904, when the ice cream was in the World Fair, it was traded as such a big quantity that position worked out of the dishes. So
wow.
The ice cream cone. Nice guess, Shawn.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think penicillin is on the list.
Yes, it is. That's right. Yeah, number 4 on the list is penicillin. It says a day Fleming was left on job station without removing it up. He goes on holiday. On his comeback, then he observed an odd blue-green shape around the few of his bacterial groups. This odd blue-green shape was penicillin.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome.
How do they know its purpose, I wonder?
Right.
You know?
Well, let's shoot this in the body. Let's see what happens. Let's test this thing. Yeah, some of the stuff with medical, it's beyond my thought process there.
Absolutely.
All right, can you get another one here? Top 10 inventions. You got a lot of food here, some sweet foods. You've got something that helps hold things together. You've got another medical device.
There's got to be some kind of candy on the list. Some kind of.
Yeah, there's a few different candies. We'll go through it here. So number 10 was ice cream cone. Number 9 is chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
And it's as per Nestle, Mrs. Wakefield was producing chocolate-made cookies at the time. She worked out of chocolate. In its place, hurrying to get chocolate of the baker, she places wrecked pieces of chocolate in the pound, expecting that they will probably properly dissolve, but the chocolate pieces didn't, and the cookies with chocolate chips were born.
That makes me think now about Reese's.
Reese's.
You got your chocolate in my peanut butter.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Oh, you got your peanut butter in my chocolate.
The number 8 was champagne.
Wow.
So it was exposed to the period of 17th century at the time of Benedict Monk struggled for the period of 2 years to arise a wine with lots of bubbles.
Wow.
Number 7. This is a breakthrough. This is kind of like the whenever you need that tool, people talk about duct tape, right? It fixes everything. This one is number 7 is super glue.
Oh.
Number 7, super glue was material identified. I can't even pronounce that word. As a researcher, it was a sad failure. The particular time researcher was functioning to make an exactitude gun sight. All right, so number 6, artificial sweetener. Number 5, the X-ray.
Wow.
The X-ray, a German observed that the glowing cardboard that was lighted the entire room. He put a hard screen among his rays and emitted a board, and he was shocked to observe that the shining images can be shaped with this hard-to-believe radiation that took the X-ray image out of the hand of her wife. So that's interesting. Number 4 was penicillin. Shawn guessed that one. Number 3, the microwave.
Wow.
Number 2, potato chips. And number 1, the number 1 invention, accidental inventions of all time, is the popsicle.
Wow.
So Frank Epperson was mixed a famous drink with some soda, and by mistake left the mix on his covered entrance the entire night. The next morning he initiates the ice-covered soda pop sitting on the stick, and he utilized to stir the mix.
Yes, that tells you popsicles were not invented in Florida.
Yeah, right.
There's no way that you could leave that out overnight and have it freeze.
Yeah, that's right. Not here in Florida. All right, so we got the lightning effect here. What we're going to do is the lightning round. All right, top tips, things to do, things to avoid, back to business, helping consumers understand decisions out there.
Well, if we're going into the vein that we're talking about, security, definitely need to protect your identity as best you can. Be careful where you use your credit cards.
Yeah.
Where you disseminate that information to, because the likelihood of being intercepted is definitely possible.
It's increasing every day.
Correct.
Absolutely. Shawn Yesner.
Yeah, along those same lines, I would say have all of your personal documents where you know where they are. Don't carry your Social Security card on you. Have it somewhere safe. Don't carry your birth certificates on you. Have it somewhere safe. All those personal documents, have them in one place safe where you know where they are, where you can access them if and when you need them.
Yeah, that's right. And on that topic as well, if you don't have an estate plan in place, we've got great attorneys here with the show that can help you with that as well. And it's something you want to think about sooner than later. And it causes issues with family, and the estate planning side of the show is something that we really take serious. We've had we've talked about different situations, different stories. One of the most notable is Prince of recent, and you had James Gandolfini, a.k.a. Tony Soprano, passed away, left a lot of money on the table that his heirs now are missing. So yeah, let's do another round here. MJ Martinez, private investigation partner here on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Well, as with bankruptcy, which is a very difficult decision to make, if you're going to hire a private investigator, it can be the same type of difficulty for people. They're not sure they want to do this. We offer free consultations. We're here. We've been doing this. We've experienced 25 years, so we can help you through any process that you need information for.
Excellent. Shawn Yesner.
Yeah, I think to your point, maybe the next show that we obviously don't have enough time now, but the next time we're on, maybe have our probate partners. It's still Jerry Slutsky. So Jerry and I can be on. I've had a lot of situations where someone dies without a will, or they do it themselves. They try to put their kids on the deed, or they try to do something with their property, and they try to get around the estate planning by doing it themselves, and that ends up causing more trouble down the road. And so we could devote an entire show to those types of issues as well.
Yeah, and it all has a common theme, and that's being proactive. Understanding the decisions that you don't make are also decisions that you are making, and so it's an opportunity to reach out. Again, that's what we want to do with the show, is help you win in any marketplace. 80 show partners that are all consumer advocates, and we're going to help you. And I'm going to talk again about attitude. I think it's so important. I don't think it's so much these days about aptitude. I think it's more about attitude that you carry on a daily basis. I don't think it's IQ. I think it's I can, having that I can attitude, as well as I don't think it's more about smarts, but it's about the heart. It's about the heart that you have, and habits are 1,000 times more likely or more stronger than desire. A lot of times we set that new goal, we have a great strong desire, but desire and will just last a few days. But the habits that you develop over time are 1,000 times more likely. And we get what we expect in life, and we want to make sure we're thankful for adversity. When you have that adversity, it's the best university in a lot of cases. Let's do one more round, MJ. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice.
Again, just be aware of your surroundings. If you're going to a club and you see somebody that appears to be suspicious following you, then tell security.
Yeah,
do something. Yeah, be proactive about your situation.
Yeah, you got to be more aware. I mean,
right.
that's one thing. Joe Harrison, when he comes on the show, he talks about being aware, having awareness about you. That's one of the first steps to self-defense.
Sure.
Yep. Shawn, final nuggets of advice.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug. So
do it.
One thing I did to support the law firm was I created a podcast. The name of the podcast is Crushing Debt, and it releases every Thursday at 6 o'clock in the morning. This next week's episode is episode 59. Covers a lot of the topics that I talk about here on the show. And so you can find it on iTunes. You can find it on all the podcast players. You can also go to crushingdebtpodcast.com, and it's there as well. And so that'll give a whole bunch of additional free information to the listeners.
Excellent. Yeah, a lot of great content. And thanks so much to all of our listeners out there. Thanks to our viewers as well, and all the expert contributors on the show, all the folks behind the team helping make the show happen. And also want to remind you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as maybe packing up leftover food, some groceries you may have in your pantry or fridge, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, and handing it to that person that you see in need. We see them on the side of the roadways, and be a force for good. Go out there and volunteer. Give your time. If you don't have the money to do volunteer or to give, do time. Give your time, volunteer, be a force for good in the community, and make sure you tune in every day, Monday through Friday, right here on iHeartRadio, 8 a.m. It's your most important hour on the Consumer Quarterback Show on the radio here. So we have a replay as well on Sunday mornings on an FM station as well. So we'll see you next time. Brandon Rhymes here signing out, the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUED to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.